Hey, what's going on, guys? So we're going to be doing a deck profile for the anti-meta variant that I was playing for a while. I'm still working on the deck. I'm still just testing it out to see how it works out this format. But yeah, there's a lot of meta cards in here, so it's like an anti-meta deck, but there's a lot of meta stuff in here. But yeah, it is kind of still considered anti-meta just because there's so much like back row that your opponent just might not have an answer to. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we're running Blackluster Soldier and Dark Armed. I mean, there's a lot of lights and darks in here, so Blackluster isn't too difficult to get out. And Dark Armed, basically, he's brought out after like a tour guide. So you need a tour guide into like Sangan or tour guide into tour guide, and then basically you have two darks, and then you just need to get one more dark, and then you can have Dark Armed. And I feel like Dark Armed's just really good, especially like if you summon something in the negate, and then you can drop Dark Armed, and if they're like warning that. Like if they're warning your summon and you summon Dark Armed successfully, you can pretty much take really good field control, especially because there's so much back row in this, and people don't really run too many back rows this format. I mean, there is MSCs at 2s and 3s and some decks, but I still feel like if you can keep your Dark Armed protected and you don't like remove everything, you can pretty much game them as long as it survives the next turn. And then next up, we're playing two Veilers. Even though there's heavy back row in this deck and heavy protection, I just feel like you really need to still main deck the Veilers and Maxis, just because there's so many decks out there that just go first turn, and if you don't have an answer for that, you end up kind of losing from that, like the wind up loop. And sometimes Six Samurais can like get a really good field first turn. And then next up, Fossil Dino. Fossil Dino is a great anti-meta card, although I just kind of like one of him. He's relatively weak as far as that, but I like to search him out sometimes with Sangan. I mean, Sangan searches out a lot of different things that really help out, and Fossil Dino definitely is a great anti-meta card, as long as you can keep him protected. I mean, he is kind of weak. But yeah, you have like Lances, Deep Prisons, and stuff to protect him. So as long as you can keep him on the field for like maybe 3 turns, you should be pretty good to go to set up, and then you should take victory from there. Next up, we're playing Grand Mole. Grand Mole really good. Gets rid of Exceeds, gets rid of Synchros, and just overall solid card. You can't exceed with it. And he's a great card comboed with Cyber Dragon, because if you summon Cyber Dragon, and then you normal summon Grand Mole, and they have a set monster, you can keep on just attacking them over and over. And if they just keep on setting the monster, which they probably won't do, but yeah, but keep in mind when you do that, you most likely want to have like a Starlight Road set or some type of answer, depending on what you want to keep alive, maybe like Lance. But yeah, because when anti-meta plays, if they summon 2 monsters and they get like Mirror Force or Torrentials, it really does hurt the deck, and it can become problematic because then you just don't have anything else to do. I mean, you have a lot of protection, but it just really does hurt a lot more than like a meta deck when you get like Mirror Force. But next up, yeah, we have the Gale. Gale halves a lot of different things like Shien, which can kind of be problematic. Pretty much, big monsters are kind of a problem sometimes for anti-meta to deal with if they don't attack, because like they're afraid of Deep Prison, so they just don't attack. So you can summon Gale half, and then if they want to attack Gale, you just Deep Prison Bottomless and keep on halving. Gale really is really good, and he's level 3 plus he's dark. He's a tuner, so he allows Synchros. It allows access to Armor Master, which I think is a great anti-meta card, because pretty much they're going to need monsters effects to destroy him, and essentially you could have answers for that. But I think he's really relatively pretty good. Next up, we talked about Cyber Dragon and then Gores. Even though you're playing heavy back row, sometimes you do need it if they like Heavy Storm. I mean, usually when you won't set like too many when you don't have like a Starlight Road set, but Gores is still relatively good. I usually like to set like 1 or 2. I don't like to set 3 unless I have an answer like Starlight Road. But yeah, I think Gores is relatively still too good really not to run, and plus he allows Synchros when you summon Fact Veiler. You can sync up for an 8 that way. And next up, I'm still playing 3 Maxis, even though it is an anti-meta deck. But the thing is, Maxi is just too good first turn if your opponent is playing like windups, and you just really need this card. It really does help. And then the big boss of the anti-meta, Thunder King, I think he's really good. I mean, he basically protects himself. I mean, you don't really need back row, and it just hands down shuts down some decks. Like Infernities, it beats that, and then it also beats stuff like Karakuri, and windups, it hurts them a lot too. There's a lot of different decks, and Thunder King just hurts a lot, except for like Injectors. It really doesn't stop them too much. But yeah, Thunder King is just an overall solid card, plus he's light, and he's quite amazing. Next up, we're playing 3 Tour Guide and the Sangan, and that's basically the targets that you get out with Tour Guide. You only have Sangan as a target, but that's just how the deck runs. And you usually go for Sangan, depending on what you're playing against. But yeah, I mean, if you're playing against like Rescue Rabbit, like just make this guy over here and detach, and then usually can't deal with it because it's too high of an attack. But yeah, most of the time I just go for Sangan, and I just sit on the Sangan, and it lets me search out these cards. I mean, I could search out Maxi and Vela, but generally it's these three cards really here that help out so much. I mean, if you're playing at 6 hands, just search out like the Fossil Dyna, and if you're playing in some like Exceed deck or some Synchro deck, you can go for like Grand Mole. It's just really good. And then last up for the monster, we're playing Kaiku. And what I like about Kaiku, he doesn't have to attack directly. Like, I used to be playing Spirit Reaper, but the thing is, I want to be a little bit more aggressive in my anti-meta and just push a little bit harder. And what's really good with Kaiku is you can combo it with Lance. And he just has to inflict battle damage to your opponent's monsters, or just to your opponent. And so when they attack into your Kaiku and you chain Lance, if your Kaiku runs over their monster, they take battle damage, then you can remove. But keep in mind, you can't remove the monster that just attacked because it's not in the graveyard at the moment. But yeah, he's really good. I mean, if you get this guy out against Lightsworn, you attack like basically twice and you start removing their stuff. They kind of fall apart. Even Insectors, I mean, sometimes they go Dragonfly and then they get out Centipede. They do their combo, and then after that, if they usually will have like one Hornet in the grave, but if they happen to have two and you just remove those, it can hurt them a lot because they'll most likely add Dragonfly to their hand, and then after that play, I mean, some don't play Gigamantis, so I mean, if you just remove those two Hornets, it's just like it hurts them a lot because basically they just don't have any more answers to Kaiku because they just need their Hornets to pop. But yeah, so then we're playing Dark Hole, and then we're playing Triple Lance. I really like this card because it helps you protect your cards that you really need to survive, like Fossil Diana, Grand Mole, sometimes Gale. It just really helps. Plus, you can't afford to get like your monsters like if they activate like a Torrential Tribute and you have like a Thunder King and they have like a face down. If the face down is like Sangan and you just train the Forbidden Lance and keep your Thunder King alive, it really helps because they don't get their search and you have Thunder King still there and you can attack. No worries about like deep prisons. And yeah. Next up, Heavy Storm, Reborn, and then Triple Duality. Even though this anti-meta deck does have the potential to special summon a lot, you don't have to. And this is the thing, like, if you summon Tour Guide and you activate Effect, it gets Warning, no problem. I mean, you still have your back row to rely on. And, I mean, if you're summoning Tour Guide, that's kind of like a little bit of a push. So, I mean, if it gets negated, then you know that your opponent, won't have an answer next turn, essentially, if they've already used, like, double warnings. And usually people do Warning Tour Guides. Next up, Book of Moon, just because it does help out sometimes, depending on what you're playing against. But, I mean, sometimes if they have Christia out, Book of Moon Christia is pretty good, so that way you can get out your Dark Arm or whatever you really need. And then next up, we're playing Double Bottomless. I feel the Bottomless is okay. I mean, there's certain decks where it doesn't really hurt. Like, Insectors, it doesn't really hurt them. You can hit Centipede, but, yeah, there's a few decks, like, if you're playing against, like, any anti-meta, Bottomless hurts a lot of different anti-meta decks. But, yeah, like, it hurts Glads, which I'd kind of consider, like, an anti-meta deck. And then we're playing 3D Prison. I don't know why this one's hiding over there. But, yeah, we're playing 3D Prison just because you need to keep your monsters alive. And sometimes when there's a big monster on the field and you don't have an answer to it, Deep Prison's there, and it does help out. And, yeah, and then next we're playing Double Warning. And there's no Solemn Judgment just because in an anti-meta deck, sometimes if you pay too much life, you really end up losing. And that's what I've kind of learned. I mean, you could definitely play Solemn Judgment, don't get me wrong, it's a great card, but the thing is, if you activate Solemn like early on, and then they just like Dark Hole summon something attack, and you don't have an answer to it like immediately once they attack, and take like, 2,000 damage right there, you end up being so low in life that you can't activate your other Solemns, and it really hurts. And that's how I kind of feel with Solemn Judgment. If you activate Solemn Judgment, and they're able to just summon anything else, you basically lose. And that's just because you just end up paying too much life. And that's how I kind of feel with it. But it's a great card. You can maybe swap it out for like a Starlight Road. But I'm playing Triple Starlight Road because Heavy obviously destroys anti-meta. If someone Heavy Storms you successfully for like more than 2 or 3 cards, you basically lose. But that goes with any deck. And the thing with anti-meta is you need to be able to beat them relatively quick because if they happen to draw into like their answer cards, because if you summon Fossil Diana and they don't have an answer within a few turns, you can kind of win from that. But the thing is, since Fossil Diana is so weak, it takes so long that like I'd rather summon like another card along with Fossil Diana, like let's say like a Thunder King or even like Grand Mole, even though it's weak. And if they happen to be like, okay, I finally drew my answer card, which is Dark Hole, then you have your answer, which is Starlight, and then you plus so hard off that you basically win. And that's the thing, like, sometimes people will be like, oh, I don't want a Dark Hole Fossil Dyna, even though I don't have an answer to it at the moment. I would rather have my opponent commit more cards to the field before I activate my Dark Hole. So then, once you do that, they're like, oh, okay, it's fine, I'll just take the damage, I won't drop my Gores, and then, well, they can't because Fossilnine's there, but let's just say that you have like Thunder King and like a Gale, and you're just attacking with Thunder King and Gale, and then they're like, oh, I don't want to drop Gores, I'll just Dark Hole him, and then once they, do Dark Hole, you get a Starlight, and then basically from there you win because you have too much field control. I really feel like if you activate a Starlight Road early on in the game, as a response to your opponent's like Heavy Storm or Dark Hole, you kind of do have so much field advantage that you should be getting the game. But anyways, let's go on with the extra deck. So I'm playing a Chimera Tech just because we do have the Cyber Dragon in there. Next up, Armor Master. That's the only other weird, I'd say, synchro. I'm also playing Thought Ruler Archer, and I think this card's okay as well. Just against certain decks, it's good. Like against any anti-meta variant that's running like Deep Prison, like sometimes maybe E-Heroes, it could be good to do that because like Gemini Spark is there. But there's just Bryo, Mistworm, Scrap Dragon, and then 2 Stardust because you have 3 Starlight Road. And then as far as Exceeds, we're playing Levier, number 17, Acid Golem, Utopia, and Zemmings. You could kind of put Roach in here. I'm not sure what you take out. Probably, I'd say Thought Ruler Archfiend. That could be a option. Yeah, I think that basically covers it. But I'm still working on the deck. I'm still like taking suggestions. So if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, this is basically like the I'd say it's a pretty good anti-meta deck. Even though it basically is like a meta anti-meta, if that makes sense, because all those cards are meta. There's probably about like 10 anti-meta cards. I'd consider like Deep Prison anti-meta. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this deck, and if you have any suggestions for improvements, let me know in the comment section below. Oh, before I forget, the reason why there's no Torrential Tribute in here is I really feel that you have to protect your monsters. And you could like have Torrential and Lancet, but I just don't feel like that's worth it. Torrential's a fantastic card, but you have to keep your monsters alive. Like, I know if your monster gets warning and you set Torrential, that's great, but the thing is, you want to keep your monsters alive, and that's why I don't main deck the Torrential Tribute. I don't know why there's Mind Crushes cited here. I guess if they summon Earth and they search out the Venus, you can get rid of that, but I don't think Mind Crush is too good for a side deck card. But anyways, yeah, as far as side deck, don't look at this side deck. Crow's pretty good, Chain of Experience is also pretty good, and Torrential Tribute's great, but I wouldn't copy my side deck. I don't really usually play matches. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comment section below. Asian Eyes White Dragon, signing out.